This is the story of our life supporters, corn, beans, and squash, and why we must regard the needs of these three sisters who live to grow with one another in the same cornhill. There was in the olden time a village of our people which was in a very fertile and beautiful country. Corn, beans, and squash were raised for many years. They were contented and prosperous, but there came a time when the crops began to fail. The corn cobs were bare, the bean pods were empty. The squash would wither before they could be harvested. Our people went hungry. There was no food for them in the fields, and the game was scarce. One day an elderly grandmother was walking near the planted field, thinking about the misfortune of her people. As she walked, she could hear a faint weeping from the field. She thought someone was in distress. When she reached the field, she was surprised to find that the corn was weeping, the beans were weeping, and the squash was weeping. She stopped beside a hill of corn and asked, "Dear corn, why do you weep?" The corn replied, "You place us in the ground to grow, but you do not care for us. You do not cover our feet with enough earth so we can stand firm, or dig the earth around us to give us water, and you allow our enemies to grow up around us. Now we are all dying because of your neglect." She went to the beans and the squash. From both she heard the same story of neglect of her people. She returned to her lodge, and being deeply saddened by the painful story, she too cried. The chief of the clan came to her lodge and asked why she was grieving. She explained that she had heard the sobbing in the fields, and that the corn, beans, and squash had complained to her and told of how she and her people could not properly care for them. Upon hearing this, the chief called a council. The council decided that in the future, whoever planted the corn, beans, and squash would cover the seed with enough earth to sustain it. Later, when the sprouts reached such a height, they must care for the plants by hilling them and digging around them to loosen the earth and to destroy the enemies who grew about them. All the people agreed that they would follow this advice. The following spring, they took great pains to care for the plants, and the harvest was plentiful, and the game once again flourished.